off the land. Those scars.
Under the watchful eye of police, protesters rallied outside a Sydney court this morning in support of one of their own.
It was a protest. The judge will hear there was no violence and no one was hurt.
They expressed outrage on behalf of Coco, known as Violet, who is now at the centre of a fresh debate over the right to peaceful protest.
Well, we know what the threat to our way of life is. It's climate change that's destroying the lives of people in Lismore.
Violet Coco was arrested after taking part in a protest that blocked a lane of traffic on the Sydney Harbour Bridge during peak hour in April.
Hi, I'm Violet. I'm here as a supporter of Fireproof Australia. This is an emergency situation. We are in an emergency. And we have to act now. The government only listens to the squeaky wheel. And so we are being the squeaky wheel and it's not fun.
She pleaded guilty to 7 charges, including one for letting off a flare and another for resisting a police officer during arrest. In early December, she was sentenced to 15 months jail under strict new laws rushed through the New South Wales Parliament with bipartisan support in April to prohibit the blocking of major roads and bridges.
No, it's not excessive. And if protesters want to put our way of life at risk, they should have the book thrown at them. And that's pleasing to see. We want people to be able to protest, but you should do it in a way that doesn't inconvenience people right across New South Wales.
While a Supreme Court challenge of the New South Wales laws is pending, Victoria and Tasmania have also moved to introduce laws increasing penalties for some kinds of obstructive protests.
Well, it's not just a traffic jam, it's thousands of people's lives interrupted. We wanted to put a message that was very clear and a line in the sand in legislation, which was supported by the Parliament, to be able to say, and we had to recall Parliament on the Friday to do that, to ensure we had a line in the sand to say that is unacceptable behaviour. You have to weigh your right to protest with the right of everybody else to safely use our roads.
Protest is often by design polarising, to get on the news, to get people thinking about it.
My name's Dave Pocock, on top of this digger.
Federal Independent Senator David Pocock was arrested in 2014 for chaining himself to mining equipment while protesting against a proposed coal mine, but wasn't convicted. He thinks the new laws don't get the balance right.
We have to remember that non-violent direct action has been fundamental to so many of the freedoms that we now take for granted in society. My concern with this is the way that the 2 major parties in New South Wales rushed through a piece of legislation at the same time that they are not listening to scientists when it comes to climate change and what we need to do as a society to avert horrendous outcomes and inconvenience.
Climate protesters have recently made headlines for using bold measures to get their message across. Some research suggests radical protest measures can actually dissuade people from joining a cause.
In social psychology, this is what we term the activist dilemma, where the types of tactics that activists and change agents might use in order to promote change can ironically dissuade people from actually supporting that cause themselves. We know that people are much more likely to be supportive of these more radical or extreme actions if they perceive that social change is not possible without them, if they feel that there is, I guess, kind of a sense of inertia around a particular issue.
She raised the alarm about climate change and now she's in prison. These anti-protester laws are too much. The government has gone too far.
Violet Coco was today freed from prison after a judge approved her bail appeal. She's subject to a series of conditions, including not going within a kilometre of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Her sentencing appeal is expected to be heard in March.
History will look very differently on Violet Coco than we are at the moment and the current level of debate in Australia.
All right.
Everyone has the right to protest. Do so in a way that doesn't inconvenience people around you.